It was the ghost festival, and my best friend secretly tucked the leftover spirit money ashes into my clothes. When I found out, she burst into tears, looking all pitiful. I've been cursed lately, and the only way I'll make it through today is if someone takes on the bad luck for me. You're not mad, right? I smiled and said, of course not. After all, I was born with a fate connected to the spirit world. Trying to use someone like me to ward off bad luck on the ghost festival? She was really asking for trouble. On the day of the ghost festival, my best friend, Tanya, called me sobbing. Sarah, my mom died. Can you come with me to the crossroads to burn some spirit money for her? Your aunt died? So suddenly? And why the crossroads? If I remembered correctly, I'd just seen Tanya and her mom's vacation pics from Paris on my social media feed a few days ago. Besides, today was the ghost festival. Before my dad left on business, he specifically told me not to go out today unless it was absolutely necessary. Before I could finish asking, Tanya, on the other end of the line, suddenly broke down wailing. I lost my job, my mom's gone. I just want to burn some spirit money for her. If you don't come with me, I might as well just die. Hearing Tanya talk about suicide, I didn't dare press further and quickly agreed to her request. Tanya and I were college roommates, living together for 4 years. With Tanya's mom suddenly passing, she really needed someone by her side. But when I rushed to the agreed-upon crossroads, Tanya was nowhere to be seen. I was just about to call her and ask where she was, when Tanya suddenly shouted my name from behind me. After shouting, she ran up and slapped my shoulder really hard. The gesture startled me. When I came to my senses, I kindly reminded her, Tanya, you shouldn't just shout someone's name from behind and pat their shoulder like that. Some people are superstitious about it. Shouting names from behind, patting shoulders. These were both taboos during the ghost festival. Ordinary people have 3 flames of yang energy on their shoulders. If they're extinguished, it could lead to bad luck at best, or attract evil spirits at worst. Sarah, I didn't mean to, don't be mad. Even in the summer heat, Tanya was wearing long sleeves and pants. Thinking about the grief Tanya must be going through, losing her mother, I decided not to make a big deal out of it. Let's burn the spirit money for your aunt, and then head back early. Tanya agreed, all the while gathering the ashes of the burnt spirit money from the ground into a cloth bag. Sarah, thanks for today. Let me treat you to dinner. With that, Tanya went to a nearby street food stall and bought 2 servings of fried rice. Tanya's portion looked normal, but the fried rice she handed me had a pair of chopsticks stuck upright in it. This was called upside-down rice. Where I'm from, upside-down rice is for the dead. My appetite vanished instantly. I wanted to check the time and go home early, but as I fumbled in my pocket, I pulled out a handful of spirit money ashes and a crumpled note. Food for the dead, a ghost's touch, borrow a life with spirit money, then rise above. Tanya, what exactly are you trying to do? One strange incident after another. Even if I was slow, I understood now that Tanya had planned all this tonight. But before I could get angry and question her, Tanya put on a pitiful face and started crying. Sarah, I've been cursed lately. Only by getting someone to take on the disaster for me can I get through these next few days. You're my best friend. You wouldn't hate me for this, right? I frowned and asked her, are you sure you want me to take on your bad luck? Hearing this, Tanya glared at me, her expression changing completely. Sarah, you saw the note. That means the transfer was successful. Consider this meal my treat. You should head home early tonight so you don't run into any trouble. With that, she threw down a few bucks and walked straight out of the food stall. Watching Tanya's retreating figure, I almost burst out laughing. After all, I was born with a fate connected to the spirit world. Practically half dead myself. Trying to use a half-dead person to ward off disaster on the ghost festival? She clearly had a death wish. As soon as I got home, I quickly threw all the spirit money ashes from my pocket into the trash. Later, still feeling it was bad luck, I just threw the whole outfit away. Scrolling through my phone that night, I saw Tanya's latest social media post. Finally got rid of the bad juju. Starting tomorrow, good luck is all mine. The picture was a side profile of her looking towards the sunlight. I couldn't help but roll my eyes. After working for a bit, I felt tired and dozed off on the sofa. But 10 minutes later, Tanya called again. This time, her voice was extremely weak. Yet her words were still aggressive. Sarah, what did you do to me today? Why am I freezing cold and have a splitting headache ever since I got back? Tanya, you tried to make me your scapegoat, and now you have the nerve to accuse me of doing something to you? When did you get so shameless? Of course, I knew this was the backlash from trying to use me to ward off her bad luck. But by now, I had no sympathy left for Tanya. Naturally, I didn't want to waste any more words on her. I'm warning you, if anything happens to me, I won't let you off the hook. If you're sick, go see a doctor. Stop bothering me. After saying that, I hung up the phone. Just then, my dad called. Sweetie, are you okay at home alone? I'm going to be a bit late. Dad, is the case you're on today really tricky? My dead site. It is. About 10 bodies were stolen from the West Side funeral home, and they're still missing. What? People steal bodies these days? My dad continued, saying there was a group specializing in trafficking corpses, mostly for materials used in cosmetic surgery. But implanting parts from a dead body into a living person, aside from the safety and hygiene issues, once it carried the deceased's resentment or negative energy, it would become very troublesome. My dad knows a bit about feng shui and spiritual arts, so people often asked him to handle such matters. My dad said I was born on the day the king of hell was taking roll call, my fate cursed with 7 afflictions. At that time, my mom died from excessive bleeding during childbirth due to complications. Later, my dad, suppressing his grief, forcibly took my mom's body to a mass grave to complete my delivery. Originally, neither my mom nor I were supposed to survive that day. It was my dad who, by performing a ritual in the mass grave to deceive the spirits, barely managed to save my life. Therefore, I was an underworld crosser, practically half dead. My dad warned me not to go out randomly on the ghost festival, not because he was afraid something would happen to me, but because he was afraid my unique fate might affect others. As we talked, I told him about the ridiculous things that happened to me today, especially about this Tanya, whom my dad had met before. After hearing it, my dad exploded with anger. People are still using these twisted, evil ways to harm others? Sarah, you stay home and don't go anywhere. As soon as I'm done here, I'll come back and settle scores with that Tanya. After hanging up, I turned on the AC and prepared to watch a movie. To get in the mood, I even picked a classic Lam Ching-ing vampire film. But just as the opening credits finished, there was a frantic banging on the door. I opened it to find a fierce-looking woman and 2 burly men standing outside. The woman was dripping in jewels, but she stood with her hands on her hips, looking like a shrew. You're Sarah, right? What did you do to make our Tanya come down with a high fever? She's lying in the hospital right now. You have to pay for these medical bills. Who are you? I looked at the woman, completely bewildered. I'm Tanya's mother. I stood behind the iron security gate, watching her warily. Ma'am, are you really Tanya's mother? How about you show me a birth certificate first? The woman sneered. Don't give me that nonsense. My daughter got sick after going out with you. You have to pay for the hospital bills, lost wages, and emotional distress. I finally understood. Tanya's mom was here to extort money from me. Her voice was loud, immediately attracting other neighbors who came out of their homes to see what was going on. Seeing an audience, the woman became even more brazen, slinging mud at me. Hey everyone, come look. This woman is a homewrecker. She stole my daughter's boyfriend. She's the reason my daughter is lying in the hospital right now. You all be the judge. Is this any way to behave? I immediately retorted, ma'am, that's not right. Tanya clearly told me her mom was dead. She even dragged me to burn spirit money for her today. Here, she said it herself. When Tanya asked me to burn spirit money with her and was talking about suicide, I had a bad feeling, so I turned on my phone's voice recorder beforehand. With that, I pulled out my phone and turned the volume all the way up. I played the voice message of Tanya crying to me about her mom's death for everyone to hear. Sarah, my mom just died. I lost my job. My mom's gone. I just want to burn some spirit money for her. Tanya's mom listened, stomping her foot in anger, repeatedly signaling to the 2 men behind her with her eyes. The 2 men, getting their orders, quickly pulled out cameras from their bags and started snapping photos of me. I'm going to take your picture so everyone can see what a vixen you are. I knew there was no reasoning with this kind of shrew, so I just locked the door and ignored her. Tanya did something wrong, trying to use me to borrow luck and ward off disaster. Getting sick from the backlash and ending up in the hospital served her right. Trying to get money out of my pocket? Even less likely. My neighbors had a good relationship with my family. In the past, when neighbors' kids got scared, they'd often come to my dad for help with calming rituals. Naturally, they knew my character and started speaking up for me. The woman, furious, started spouting nonsense. You've all been fooled by this vixen. Be careful she doesn't seduce your husbands. But this remark angered the other neighbors. What nonsense are you talking? We've watched Sarah grow up. She's not that kind of person. It's your daughter who goes around telling people her mom's dead. Aren't you afraid it'll come true? If you don't leave, we're calling the police. The woman, who had been so arrogant, immediately toned it down when she heard police. But before leaving, she still threw out a threat. Just you wait. I'm going to post your photos online and tell everyone to watch out for this vixen. I kindly reminded her, ma'am, invading personal privacy and slander are illegal. If you do that, you might find your photo on a memorial wall next year, genuinely collecting incense money. Tanya was already bizarre and malicious enough. Her mom was even more unreasonable. The whole family was rotten to the core. Seeing that someone had already called the police, they finally got scared and left. After they left, worried they might still try something, I quickly took out my phone to call my dad. However, just then, Mrs. Lee's startled cry came from outside the door. Sarah, come quick and see. Those awful people just now. They stuck your family's incense in upside down. The ghost festival, when the gates of the underworld open. Every household burns incense and lights candles, offering them to deceased relatives. But her sticking our family's incense in upside down was undoubtedly an affront to the spirits, meant to bring disaster upon our family. Not only that, when I opened the door to check, I also found a piece of paper in the incense burner. It read, "Upside down incense, spirits at your door, may your whole family know no peace." No need to guess, this was also Tanya's mom's doing. I had been wondering where Tanya learned such vicious ways to harm people. Now it seemed her mom taught her everything. Mrs. Lee, standing beside me, gasped, "This is too malicious. How can anyone curse people like this?" I frowned, fuming. Doing such a thing, which harms one's karmic virtue, she truly wasn't afraid of retribution. Without a second word, I immediately took a photo and sent it to my dad. Then I told him about Tanya's mom coming to our door and falsely accusing me of being a homewrecker. A few minutes later, my dad called back. "That woman dared to come to my doorstep and stick incense upside down? Does she have a death wish?" My dad's principle was, if others don't mess with me, I won't mess with them. But if the fight was brought to our doorstep, we weren't to be trifled with. My dad told me that this kind of cursing black magic was actually quite low level and not difficult to break. So, following my dad's instructions, I used red cloth from home to wrap up the incense burner, walked around the toilet 3 times, and then smashed it. "Sarah, after you smash that incense burner, flush the pieces down the toilet. That will break her evil spell." I did as he said, then took a new incense burner and incense sticks from my dad's room, placed them on the balcony, and lit them. This way, the extinguished incense was relit. Moreover, the person who cast the spell would suffer a backlash as a result. After doing all this, I felt much better and continued watching my movie. Just as it was getting to an exciting part, the class president mentioned everyone in the group chat. I thought it was about organizing a graduation reunion soon, so I quickly clicked to see. But instead, I found Tanya playing the victim in the group. "Classmates, my mom just got into a car accident. She's in the hospital now, in critical condition. I don't have enough money. Can any kind soul lend me some?" Tanya recorded a video and posted it in the group. In the video, Tanya's mom's leg was in a thick cast, being carried into an ambulance. Those 2 burly men were also badly injured. At that moment, they were wailing beside a wrecked car. Tanya sent a voice message, her voice choked with tears. "The hospital just called me, said my mom and my 2 cousins were in a car accident. They urgently need money for the hospital, but I can't come up with that much right now, boo-hoo-hoo." We were all classmates, please help me. Looking at the surroundings in the video, which resembled my neighborhood, I called property management to ask if there had been a recent car accident nearby. The lady at property management got all excited and immediately started gossiping with me. She said that half an hour ago, 2 men and a woman, who knows how they were driving, hadn't even left the complex when they suddenly floored it and slammed straight into the west gate's outer wall. Looking at the security footage, the car wasn't going particularly fast, but their brand new Mercedes was totaled. And because the 2 men and 1 woman in the car weren't wearing seatbelts, they all got injured. The woman initially tried to blame property management, insisting the west gate was poorly designed, making it hard for them to see the road, which caused the accident. Later, the traffic police came and reviewed the footage. They determined the woman was entirely at fault. Not only that, but they also had to compensate the complex for damages. Hearing this, I realized the time of Tanya's mom's car accident was around the same time I broke the curse. Tanya's mom and those 2 men, 10-1, suffered a backlash because the upside-down incense curse was broken. But I really didn't expect Tanya to use something like this to play the victim and try to solicit donations in the class group chat. Judging by her mom's flashy, bejeweled appearance and their brand new Mercedes, they definitely weren't short on cash. Back in the dorm, Tanya often played the victim in front of me. Tragic backstory, abusive parents, she could spin tales like nobody's business. Now with her act in the class group, the class president actually fell for it. It always seems like bad luck piles on those already struggling. If anyone can help, even a little bit, $3 or $5 wouldn't be too little. After saying that, the class president actually sent a $200 digital red envelope to the group. Tanya wanted to play the victim and scam money again, but I wasn't going to let her. So I also sent a message to the group. Tanya, that's not right. Setting aside the fact that your mom was completely at fault for the accident, judging by the new Mercedes she was driving, your family isn't short of this kind of money, are they? As soon as I said that, all the lurkers in the group chat popped up asking me what was going on. Tanya, however, lost it and bombarded me with several voice messages. Sarah, just because we had a little tiff recently, do you have to drag my mom into this? She's already so injured, and you still want to slander her? Don't you have a conscience? Thanks, class president. I'm really tight on money lately, so I'll take the red envelope for now. I'll definitely pay you back when I have the money. I knew Tanya wouldn't admit it. Luckily, I had security cameras installed at my front door, along with the complex's security footage that the property management lady sent me. I immediately downloaded these video clips and threw them into the group chat. Playing the innocent victim? Anyone can do that. I also put on a pitiful act and sent a voice message in the group. Tanya, is there some misunderstanding? Your mom suddenly came to my house today saying I stole your boyfriend. But you don't even have a boyfriend. In school, I was active in various clubs and popular with classmates. Tanya, on the other hand, had almost no friends besides me. To say I stole her boyfriend was simply absurd. Soon, friends who knew me well were asking in the group what was really going on. So I spilled the beans about Tanya wanting me to take on her bad luck. After hearing it, those classmates were furious and directly confronted Tanya in the class group. Tanya, we're all classmates. How could you be so malicious? At first, Tanya vehemently denied it and even tried to sling mud back at me. However, her mom sticking incense upside down at my house and cursing my family to die was an undeniable fact. The classmates were stunned. Today is the Ghost Festival, and you actually asked Sarah to take on your bad luck? That's too vicious. Sarah was so good to you before, and your mom even went to her house to spread rumors and slander her. Driving a Mercedes S-Class and still asking us for money. Stay away from people like this. The class president very dejectedly sent a voice message in the group. Tanya, give me back the $200. Tanya, furious, completely lost it in the group chat. What are you all yelling about? Don't forget, the class roster with all your admission information is in the group files. Your birth dates and times are all in there. Once I have your birth information, I'll make every single one of you take on my bad luck and extend my life. As soon as she said that, the class group chat exploded. Seriously, are you crazy? Pulling this stunt on us during the Ghost Festival? The class president even stepped in to mediate. Tanya, we're all classmates. There's no need for this, right? Tanya wouldn't listen and instead spammed the group with many horrifying pictures of coffins, paper effigies, and the like. Isn't this just disgusting? What's wrong with her? One more aggressive classmate even said, Tanya, don't think you're the only one who knows how to do this stuff. Don't forget, your birth information is in the group files too. If you push me, I'll burn your birth info for my ancestors and have them come talk to you. Her actions completely enraged everyone. A classmate working in the legal field even cursed. Do you want me to sue you? I'll sue you till you rot in jail. Tanya, with just one mouth, couldn't argue against so many people in the class. Furious, she quietly left the group. But the group chat continued to buzz with discussion. I'm seriously done. Today is the Ghost Festival. Everyone's already on edge, and she actually wants to drag us into her mess. Originally, most classmates didn't believe in these things. But Tanya's behavior was so unhinged that some people started to worry. What are we going to do? Should we go find a master to take a look? I'm actually scared she'll use our birth information to do something bad. Better safe than sorry. Let's try to find a way to counteract it. Just then, I weakly replied in the group. Actually, my dad is a spiritual consultant. Whenever there's some weird feng shui stuff in the neighborhood, he's the one who handles it. The class president immediately replied, Sarah, could you please ask your dad to help us with this? I wanted to, but I had just tried calling him several times without success. He was probably busy with a case and in a place with bad reception. When they found out, the group chat exploded again. I really didn't expect Tanya, who always seemed so meek and mild in class, to be such a deceitful person. Tell me about it. I actually felt sorry for her just now. Hey, are we really going to be okay? I just tripped and fell when I stood up. At that moment, another classmate sent a message. Oh no, I just felt a cold breeze on my back too. I'm so scared right now. What do I do? Seeing everyone starting to panic, my mind raced. I remembered my dad once said that borrowing luck and warding off disasters were all harmful, unethical practices. Breaking them wasn't actually that hard. We just needed to do the opposite. Suddenly, an idea struck me, and I asked in the class group, Classmates, I think I've figured out a way to break it. She wants to use our birth information for evil. We can turn it around on her. Right now, everyone can write down their birth date and time on a piece of paper, then find the nearest temple or shrine, offer some incense, make a donation, and put the paper into the donation box to seek protection. You mean, let Tanya try to borrow luck from Buddha? Sarah, that's a brilliant idea. Soon many people in the class group started to respond. I'm getting ready now, going to swing by the temple later, and maybe pray for some wealth for myself too. My own fate was peculiar. Tanya trying to make me take on her bad luck was purely her asking for trouble. So, I didn't need to go out. I just leaned back on the sofa at home and watched TV. Soon, classmates started posting pictures of themselves at temples in the group. Already put the paper in the donation box. Hope the deities protect me. The Ghost Festival is already heavy with yin energy. A trip to a temple can also boost one's yang energy. Sure enough, a little while later, the classmate who had just said their back felt a cold breeze shared in the group. Sarah's suggestion was really great. After coming here for a bit, I genuinely feel so much lighter. After the classmates did as I said, Tanya quickly suffered a backlash. She started calling me frantically. However, the moment I answered, I hit the record button. Tanya, what are you freaking out about now? Tanya, on the other end, was extremely agitated. She practically screamed at me. Sarah, was it you bitch who messed things up again? I already roped in the whole class to take the hit for me. It should have worked by now, but why am I getting even worse? I just found it baffling. Tanya, I advise you to stop trying to harm others. If you've really done something to offend the spirits, try to make amends instead of dragging others down with you. But Tanya burst into tears. Do you have any idea what I've gotten myself into? Those things are all over me. I haven't dared to sleep these past few days. Every time I close my eyes, I see them all around me. And I'm starting to get corpse spots on my face. This is all your fault. Sarah, even if I die, I'm taking you with me. I calmly told her, Tanya, No one is trying to harm you. This is all your own doing. After hanging up, I immediately sent the recording to the class group. Everyone, you don't need to worry about the curse anymore. Tanya has already suffered the backlash and gotten her just desserts. Once the message was sent, everyone came out to celebrate. Listening to Tanya's tone, she sounds like she's about to explode from anger. We don't harm others, but we can't let others harm us either. Her suffering a backlash is truly satisfying. I was holding my phone, happily watching the lively chat in the group, when I suddenly heard a noise at my front door. Ugh, who threw their trash at the door? It stinks. Someone move it, quick. Hearing the voice, I walked to the door, only to find 2 bags of garbage piled up outside my house, who knows when. These bags of trash had clearly been sitting there for a while. When I opened them, the stench was overwhelming, and flies were buzzing around. Disgusting liquid had soaked the ground outside my door. It took me a good 20 minutes to clean up the entrance. I had just stepped back inside, when suddenly, a voice sounded behind me, along with an icy touch that spread from my waist throughout my body. Sarah, you better not move, or I can't control the knife in my hand. My body stiffened. I turned my head to see Tanya holding a fruit knife, pressing it against my waist. I blurted out, Tanya, are you insane? Bringing a knife and breaking into my house is illegal. Tanya still had a fever patch on her forehead. Her face was deathly pale, with huge dark circles under her eyes. Large patches of what looked like corpse spots covered both her hands. I tried to calm her down and find a chance to call the police, but she was completely unhinged, grabbing my collar and yelling, Sarah, why do you have to make things so difficult for me? Don't you know, if no one takes on this disaster for me, I won't live through tonight. I tried to subtly reach for my phone to dial emergency contacts, but Tanya saw right through me. The next second, she pressed the knife to my neck. Sarah, if you don't want to die, give me your phone. Anyway, if I can't find someone to take the fall for me today, I'm dead either way. Piss me off, and I'll just stab you. Hearing this, I had no choice but to give her my phone. Just calm down. Why don't you tell me what happened? Maybe I can help you. Tanya took the phone and sneered. You can indeed help me. With that, Tanya threatened me to get in her car. The knife was constantly pressed against my neck. I didn't dare resist. Besides, Tanya wasn't in her right mind now. There was no telling what extreme measures she might take. I could only pretend to comply for now, leaving a mark, hoping my dad would find my trail when he returned. But I didn't expect Tanya to tie me up in the car and drive straight to her house. Tanya's house was in a remote suburban area. The house itself was dilapidated, with peeling paint, looking like it was about to collapse. The old iron gate creaked open, and then slammed shut heavily. When I saw clearly what was in Tanya's living room, my entire back prickled, and my hair stood on end. Tanya, you're insane. How can you put these things in your living room? The small, cramped living room was Jingran, filled with 4 blackish-red coffins. The coffin lids were nailed shut with long nails, still caked with dirt, looking as if they had just been dug up from the ground. Not only that, but there was also a lot of spirit money scattered on the floor. When the wind blew in from the window, it scattered everywhere. This living room looked like a funeral hall. Tanya fetched a thick hemp rope and tied me tightly to a chair. Don't even think about anyone coming to save you. This building is condemned. Everyone around here moved out ages ago. Behave yourself, save yourself some pain later. I silently observed Tanya's home, but couldn't help asking her, what exactly are you planning to do? After ensuring I couldn't escape, Tanya looked at me mockingly. Sarah, I never told you, my mom's a powerful spiritualist, and our family has always made a living dealing with the supernatural. All these coffins you see in the living room? They're my clients. I gasped, thinking she was completely mad. My dad also made a living in the spiritual trade, but he had never done anything as crazy as digging up buried coffins and moving them directly into a living space. Looking at the scene in the house, I already had a pretty good idea. Tanya must have been trying to profit from the dead, which is how she got into this mess. Tanya, no matter what you've done before, it's not too late to turn back now. Otherwise, you really won't survive tonight. Tanya, furious, slammed a ceramic jar on the table, shattering it. Shut up. A whitish-gray powder instantly scattered everywhere. I was dumbfounded. Tanya, are you nuts? That's an urn with ashes. Smashing someone's ashes on the ghost festival. Tanya was really tired of living. It's no wonder she was cursed. If it weren't for your problematic fate, I would have successfully transferred the disaster long ago. But this is actually an unexpected surprise. My mom said, you were born with a fate connected to the spirit world, perfect for this line of work. As long as I can swap your fate with mine today, make you die in my place, I'll never be haunted by ghosts again. As dusk settled, the candlelight in the room flickered. Tanya left for a short while, and then returned to the room. Only this time, she had found a wheelchair and pushed her mother, injured in the car accident, into the room. Mom, I've already tied Sarah up. When do we start the fate swap? Tanya's eyes gleamed. She couldn't wait to snatch my fate. Tanya's mom stared intently at me, her eyes filled with greed. Good girl, you've done well. Once we swap her underworld crosser fate, no matter how many bodies we sell in the future, no ghosts or monsters will ever bother you. Hearing this, I suddenly understood. You actually engage in such a despicable business as selling bodies? Recalling the case my dad had been working on recently, my scalp instantly tingled. Since ancient times, it has always been emphasized that the dead should be respected and allowed to rest in peace. But this mother and daughter were so deranged they were digging up graves. Seeing the horrified expression on my face, Tanya, on the contrary, proudly flaunted in front of me how much money she could make from selling one body. This is an amount we could never earn even after working hard for a long time. She even told me that male corpses could be dismembered, their parts sold to plastic surgery clinics as implant materials. Female corpses could be sold for ghost marriages. I kindly advised Tanya, while the ghost festival isn't over yet, take these exhumed bodies back to their graves respectfully, burn incense and offer prayers for their forgiveness every day. You might still save your life. Tanya heard these words and looked at me as if I were an idiot. Do you know how much money these 5 bodies can make? Why would I return them? As she spoke, she grabbed an Hermes bag and flaunted it in front of me. Sarah, your salary for several months can't even match the price of one of my bags. Hee, when we were in school, you all looked down on me. After I do this for a few more years, you poor losers will be kissing my feet. Hearing this, I shook my head. Consumed by greed, she was beyond saving. Given all the despicable things Tanya had done, it was no wonder she was haunted by evil spirits and constantly experiencing paranormal misfortune. Daughter, stop wasting time. Get the fate-swapping ritual ready. We must transfer her fate to you before the ghost festival ends. In the short time they had been talking, more corpse spots had appeared on Tanya. Her entire face was rapidly becoming devoid of color. Her mom was right. If they didn't find a solution soon, once tonight passed, Tanya would become completely dead. By then, not even a god could save her. Mom, don't worry. This time, we're sure to succeed. Following her mom's instructions, Tanya set up an altar. It not only had various offerings, but also 2 memorial tablets inscribed with our birth dates and times. Mom, everything is ready. Tanya's mother nodded slightly. Very good, daughter. Now go and cut off her hair, put it in an iron basin and burn it to ashes. Tanya did as she was told. Afterward, her mom tilted her head back and began to mumble an incantation. Heaven won't claim you, earth won't hold you. A precious soul now comes to me. In the eon of year and month, we'll swap our fates, and all karmic debts will be transferred to thee. Ancestors protect, spirits bear witness. Today Sarah and Tanya's fates shall switch. All spiritual debts Tanya owes, Sarah will now repay in full. After all the hair in the iron basin had burned to ashes, Tanya used a cup to mix the ashes with water and drank it. Then she suddenly burst into maniacal laughter. Ha ha ha, Sarah. Now it's your turn to taste what it's like to be haunted by 100 ghosts. And I was waiting for Tanya to realize that after swapping fates, she would encounter something even more terrifying. Because of this underworld crosser fate, I almost got myself killed by attracting evil spirits when I was a child. It took my dad a lot of effort to deceive the spirits and seal my fate. He said that one day, when I was strong enough, he would unseal it. 5 minutes later, Tanya sensed something was wrong. She hugged herself, shivering uncontrollably. Mom, why do I feel a bit cold? It's like someone is breathing on my neck. The woman also looked at Tanya with some suspicion. Impossible. This is the fate-swapping method my master taught me. It absolutely can't be wrong. Let's wait a bit longer. However, as they waited, Tanya's condition only worsened. Mom, do you hear any strange noises? Why do I keep feeling like someone is whispering in my ear? It was then that Tanya's mom realized something was amiss. She glared at me fiercely. Sarah, are you playing tricks? Why are you completely fine? I looked innocent. What does it have to do with me? You've tied me to a chair, and you've already done the fate swap. What else could I do? As the candles burned down faster and faster, Tanya's state became even more alarming. I watched as Tanya's right hand twisted in a bizarre way, her skin covered in numerous marks. It was as if countless invisible hands were gripping her tightly. Tanya, like a madwoman, was screaming for help in the room. Slowly, the woman in the wheelchair also noticed something was wrong, her eyes filling with fear. Daughter, Sarah is behind this, it must be her. Tanya was already somewhat delirious. Hearing this, she suddenly picked up the knife and looked at me with sinister eyes. Sarah, you're asking for death. Just as Tanya's knife was about to stab me, a loud crash came from outside the door. Bang! The next second, I saw my dad burst in. Dad. Tanya was startled by the noise, but she quickly pressed the knife to my throat again. Don't come over. If you dare come closer, I'll kill her immediately. My dad quickly raised his hand to stop. Wait. Let's talk this through. I can agree to anything you want, but don't hurt my daughter. Just then, my dad noticed the woman in the wheelchair. A flicker of surprise crossed his eyes. Flora, what are you doing here? A few seconds later, my dad reacted. So Tanya is your daughter? The woman named Flora looked up, staring at my dad in disbelief. After a long moment, she tremblingly called out, Senior brother. How can it be you? Both Tanya and I were stunned by this sudden turn of events. My dad and Tanya's mom were actually from the same spiritual lineage. My dad's gaze fell on the coffins, his expression complex. It's been many years, but I see you haven't changed your ways at all. Back then, when you used the skills our master taught you to sell bodies, I strongly disapproved. But I never imagined that after you got yourself cursed by evil spirits from selling bodies, and lost your spiritual powers, you still wouldn't learn your lesson. Now you're even tricking your own daughter into continuing this despicable business. Hearing this, Tanya trembled slightly. She instinctively refuted my dad, you're lying. My mom said, these people are already dead, so we might as well make some money from them. My mom has been selling bodies for so many years without any problems. It must be because of Sarah that I ended up like this. Hearing her deluded statement, I almost rolled my eyes in exasperation. My dad looked at Tanya with pity and slowly said, the reason your mom hasn't had any problems all these years is because she's been using you to take on the bad luck. Haven't you noticed that you've been particularly unlucky your whole life, and nothing ever goes smoothly for you? Tanya, you've been used by your own mother. Hearing this, the woman panicked. Tanya, don't listen to his nonsense. Who wouldn't want such an easy way to make money? Don't you remember? It was Mom who taught you how to get into this business, how you got the money to buy luxury bags and clothes. Mom is doing this for your own good. How could Mom harm you? Even now, Tanya's mom was still trying to argue. My dad, enraged, exposed her true colors. Flora, after all these years, your ability to lie through your teeth has only gotten better. If this business is really so good, why aren't you doing it yourself anymore? Because you know that if you continue, the karmic debt you've accumulated will bring retribution down on you. That's why you had to drag your daughter into this. You tricked her into making money this way. If she gets cursed, it's her problem, you still profit. After my dad finished speaking, the room suddenly fell silent. Tanya's gaze slowly shifted to the woman. Is what he said true? The woman, somewhat embarrassed and enraged, unleashed a torrent of abuse at Tanya. You damn girl, is your brain waterlogged? You believe whatever anyone says? I'm your biological mother. Would I harm you? But by then, Tanya's heart was clearly wavering. But Mom, he's right. If doing this has no harm, why do you never touch these bodies yourself and always make me do it? The woman was furious. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Hurry up and kill Sarah. Otherwise, once the ghost festival is over, and the evil spirits come to collect their debts, we'll both die. Seeing Tanya still hesitating, she began to speak recklessly. So what if I tricked you? So what if I used you? I'm your mother. I gave birth to you. Tanya suddenly laughed out loud. Mom, I'm your own daughter. How could you harm me like this? Tanya, don't forget, I gave you this life. Let alone making you take on bad luck. Even if I asked you to die, it would be perfectly justified. Suddenly, Tanya glared at the woman with a sinister look. Is that so? In that case, why don't you die first? With that, Tanya suddenly raised the knife and lunged towards the woman. Several stabs, each one potentially fatal. At the same time, my dad rushed towards me, pulling me away from the bloody scene. And Tanya, not long after killing her mother, her head began to twist uncontrollably backward. It was as if something was sitting on her shoulders, forcibly bending her head back. Finally, Tanya's head turned a full 180 degrees. She collapsed to the ground lifeless. Dad, what about these coffins? My dad gently comforted me, then made a call to notify the villagers. Since the remains of these deceased individuals had been found, their relatives naturally had to be informed to come and claim them. The scene was a chaotic mess. Soon, personnel from the relevant departments arrived to investigate and handle the situation. My dad later told me that because Tanya had swapped fates with me that night, my underworld crosser fate had attracted all the evil spirits to her. She was brutally killed by the evil spirits, and I managed to escape with my life. It was a case of surviving a great disaster, and being blessed with good fortune thereafter. From then on, my fate became normal. And so the largest recent case of body trafficking finally came to an end. Tanya, Tanya's mother, and her two cousins were the main suspects. In addition, the case involved several other people. The police had already arrested Tanya's two cousins, and were preparing for further investigation. After everything was handled, my dad took me home. Watching the sky begin to lighten on the horizon, I let out a long sigh of relief. This thrilling and terrifying ghost festival was finally over. The end.